In the beginning, before time was counted, before the stars burned in the heavens, before the oceans moved or the wind breathed across the earth, there was only God. No mountain stood, no sky stretched above, no birds sang, no creatures walked, no light shone. Everything was silent. A deep, endless darkness covered everything that existed. The earth was formless, empty, unshaped. Like a vast wilderness waiting to be awakened, darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God moved gently over the surface of those waters. Pause then, in the quiet of that endless darkness. God spoke. A single command broke the silence. Let there be light, and instantly, light appeared, brilliant, pure. Radiant light burst into existence, pushing back the darkness. For the first time, the universe was illuminated. God looked upon the light, and it was good. So God separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Evening passed, morning came, and that was the first day. Pause on the second day. God spoke again. The waters that covered everything were everywhere, above and below, without order. So God said, "Let there be a great expanse between the waters," at his command. The waters separated. A vast open space stretched out between them. The waters below gathered together, while the waters above were held in place. That great expanse, that open space above the earth, God called the sky, and evening passed. Morning came. That was the second day. Pause on the third day. God looked upon the waters covering the earth. And he said, "Let the waters under the sky gather into one place, and let dry ground appear." Immediately the waters pulled back. They rushed together into great basins and valleys, where water had once covered everything. Land began to rise, mountains pushed upward, hills rolled across the earth, wide plains stretched into the distance. The dry ground God called land, and the gathered waters he called seas. God looked upon the land and the seas, and it was good. Pause, but the land was still bare. No trees, no flowers, no fields of green. So God spoke once more. Let the land produce vegetation, and suddenly the earth responded. Tiny shoots pushed through the soil. Green grass spread like a soft carpet over the ground. Plants rose upward, each one producing seeds. Trees grew tall and strong, their branches heavy with fruit. Apple trees, fig trees, olive trees, trees of every kind, each plant bearing seeds, each tree producing fruit according to its kind. The earth that had once been empty was now alive with color and growth. God looked upon the green fields, the forests, the plants and trees. And it was good. Evening passed, morning came. That was the third day. Pause on the fourth day. God turned his attention to the heavens. The sky stretched wide and empty above the earth. So God said, "Let there be lights in the sky to separate the day from the night," and with his command, the heavens were filled. A great blazing light appeared to rule the day. This was the sun. Its warmth spread across the earth. Its brightness filled the sky. Then God made a gentler light to rule the night. This was the moon, soft and silver. It glowed in the darkness, but God did not stop there. He filled the vast heavens with countless stars, tiny points of light scattered across the universe. More than anyone could ever count, they shimmered and sparkled in the darkness. God placed them in the sky to give light upon the earth, to mark seasons, days, and years, to shine in the night and remind the world that darkness would never fully overcome the light. God looked upon the sun, the moon, and the endless stars, and it was good. Evening passed, morning came. That was the fourth day. Pause on the fifth day. God turned to the seas and the skies. The oceans moved, but no living creatures filled them. The skies stretched wide, but no wings beat against the air. So God spoke again. Let the waters teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the sky at once. Life burst forth. The seas began to move with living things. Great whales glided through the deep waters. Schools of fish shimmered as they swam together. Creatures of every kind filled the oceans. Large and small, colorful fish, swift swimmers, mysterious creatures of the deep. Every type of sea life filled the waters at the same time. The sky came alive. Birds spread their wings and lifted into the air. Eagles soared high above the mountains. Doves fluttered gently through the wind. Bright birds with colorful feathers sang from tree branches. The sky echoed with the beating of wings. God saw all the creatures of the sea and sky, and it was good. Then God blessed them. Be fruitful and multiply, he said. Fill the waters of the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. Evening passed. Morning came. That was the 5th day. Pause on the 6th day. God turned once more to the land. The earth was covered with plants and trees, but no animals yet walked upon it. So God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds. And suddenly, the land began to move. Animals appeared across the earth. Strong lions walked across the plains. Elephants marched in great herds. Deer leapt through forests. Cattle grazed peacefully in the fields. Small creatures scurried across the ground. Insects buzzed and crawled among the plants. Animals of every kind filled the earth. Wild animals, livestock, creatures that moved along the ground. Each one unique, each one perfectly made. God looked upon them, and it was good. Pause, but there was still something missing. The world was beautiful. The oceans were alive. The sky was filled with birds. Animals roamed the land. Yet God desired to create something special, something made differently from all the rest, something made in his own image. So God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. And so God created the first human. He formed the man from the dust of the ground. Carefully, purposefully, he shaped him. Then God breathed into the man's nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. His name was Adam. God placed Adam in a beautiful garden he had prepared, a place filled with trees, rivers, and every kind of plant. This was the Garden of Eden. In the center of the garden stood 2 special trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God told Adam he could eat fruit from any tree in the garden, but one tree was forbidden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God warned, you must not eat from it, for if you do, you will surely die. Pause. Adam lived in the garden, caring for it, walking among the trees, but God saw something. Adam was alone. And God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. While Adam slept, God took one of his ribs. From that rib, God formed a woman. When Adam awoke, he saw her, and joy filled his heart. This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, Adam said. She would be called Eve, and together, Adam and Eve lived in the garden. They walked with God. They were not ashamed. They lived in peace, surrounded by the beauty of creation. Pause. God looked at everything he had made. The light, the sky, the land, the seas, the sun, moon, and stars, the plants and trees, the birds and fish, the animals of the earth, and humanity made in his image. Everything was complete. Everything was in harmony. God looked at all of it together, and it was very good. Evening passed. Morning came. That was the 6th day. Pause. By the 7th day, God had finished his work of creation. The heavens and the earth were complete. All life filled the world, and on the 7th day, God rested, not because he was tired, but because his work was finished. He blessed the 7th day and made it holy. a day of rest, a day set apart. Pause, and so the world began, from darkness to light, from emptiness to life, from silence to a living, breathing creation, all spoken into existence by the voice of God. And that is the story of the beginning, the story of how the world and everything in it came to be.